Mikhail said, distracted by a radar report. "Full speed ahead. Action is what we need." Within an hour, Teratupa had been transformed. The base was no longer a military installation. It was a Roman orgy, as Binghamton later described it. Hula girls were dancing, booze was flowing, and the Petty Officers Club was louder than a naval bombardment. In the hospital, Binghamton was practically dancing with joy. The Admiral's plane is touching down. Mikhail is as good as dead. Admiral Iron Pants Rafferty arrived, and he was every bit as terrifying as his name suggested. He walked into the base to find Mikhail, wearing a floral A, and Parker looking like he'd been through a blender. "Welcome to Teratupa, sir," Mikhail said, trying to stand at attention, while a ukulele played in the distance. "What the devil is that thing around your neck?" Rafferty barked. "An old native custom, sir," Mikhail offered. Binghamton, unable to wait for the destruction, suddenly recovered and burst out of the hospital in his pajamas. "Admiral, you won't believe it. There are hula girls in the air raid shelter. Mikhail has turned this base into a madhouse." They rushed to the shelter. Rafferty threw open the door. It was empty. Well, not empty, but filled with CBs polishing their boots. Mikhail had moved the girls to the laundry shack just in time. "Binghamton," Rafferty growled, "you're either delirious or drunk. Get back to bed." "Mikhail, you seem to have a firm, albeit unconventional, grip on things here." Binghamton's plan had backfired so spectacularly that he was ordered back to the hospital for combat fatigue. As he was dragged away, he saw Mikhail wink. It was only the beginning of a very long month. Chapter 3. The Sultan and the Secret Mission. A few days later, a new crisis arrived in the form of a sultan. Sultan Karim of Mirani was arriving with his 3 daughters, the princesses. Binghamton, desperate to regain his standing with the admiral, decided to host a grand dinner. "I want everything 100% in order," Binghamton screamed at Mikhail. "And to make sure you don't ruin it, I'm sending the PT-73 on a recon mission to Aku Aku." "But, sir," Mikhail protested, "there are no nips on Aku Aku. It's a deserted strip of sand." "Exactly," Binghamton cheered. "Get out." However, destiny had other plans. The Sultan's plane developed engine trouble and was forced down. Right near Aku Aku, Mikhail and his crew rescued them. "Greetings, Your Highness," Mikhail said, bowing to the Sultan. "I am Commander Mikhail. We are here to serve you." The Sultan looked at the PT-73 crew. "Are these men to be trusted with my cargo?" "Wowie, wow, wow," Gruber whispered, looking at the princesses. "Like a chicken," the Sultan snapped, offended. Mikhail quickly stepped in. "Forgive him, Highness. In our country, that's a ceremonial greeting of deep respect. Wowie, wow, wow." The Sultan was soon charmed by the saltwater skipper. He even insisted on steering the PT boat, nearly ramming it into a coral reef while laughing like a child. When they returned to base, Binghamton was forced to invite Mikhail to the royal dinner. But Mikhail's crew had other ideas. Virgil had fallen for Princess Siri and decided to borrow the PT-73 for a romantic moonlit cruise. In the middle of the dinner, Binghamton realized one of the princesses was missing. Fearing the Sultan's wrath, Mikhail had a brilliant, terrible idea. He dressed Gruber in a gown and a veil. "Your Highness," Binghamton gushed, "may I present your daughter, the princess?" Gruberina?" Gruber, in a wig and heavy makeup, tried to dance. It was a disaster of epic proportions. The Sultan watched in horror as his daughter tripped over her own feet and let out a very masculine grunt. "This is an outrage," the Sultan roared. Binghamton, realizing the deception, tried to unmask the imposter by grabbing at Gruber's dress. He accidentally grabbed the real princess instead. "Stupid infidel," the Sultan screamed. "I will raid your Washington." Binghamton stood in the ruins of the dinner party, holding a handful of silk and a look of pure despair. "Why me?" he sobbed. "Why is it always me?" Chapter 4. The Laughing Gas and the Fitness Board. The friction between Binghamton and Parker reached a boiling point when the ensign accidentally ran over the captain with the PT-73 during a botched docking maneuver. "I'm sending a message to conflict," Binghamton roared, dripping wet and covered in seaweed. "I am requesting a fitness board. You are finished, Parker. Kaput. Done." McHale knew he had to save his ensign. "We need to get lead bottom in a good mood," he told the crew. "But how?" "Laughing gas," Gruber suggested. "The base dentist just got a fresh tank of nitrous oxide." The plan was set. They rigged a hose from the dentist's office into the ventilation system of Binghamton's shack. As the captain sat at his desk, preparing the legal papers to ruin Parker's life, a sweet, odorless gas began to fill the room. Suddenly, the world didn't seem so bad to Wallace Binghamton. He looked at the charges against Parker and started to giggle. He torpedoed a garbage scow. "Ho ho, that's rich. The potato peels must have looked like a sub. What? A card that Parker is." McHale and Parker walked in. "Captain, about the fitness board." "Fitness board?" Binghamton cackled, clutching his sides. "Don't be silly, Chucky Wucky. I love you. You're the best ensign in the Navy." He grabbed Parker and started dancing a jig. "Sir," Carpenter stammered, "you ordered me to radio conflict to speed up the hearing." Lathering Dodo, Binghamton laughed. "Cancel it. Send a message that Parker is a hero, a genius, a marvel of modern science." Just then, Admiral Shoemaker arrived for the hearing. He walked in to find the base commander dancing with an ensign and a commander while singing the Old Gray Mare. "Binghamton, what is the meaning of this?" Shoemaker demanded. Binghamton grabbed the admiral. "Shoei, you old dog, come and dance. The world is a beautiful place." The gas eventually wore off, but not before an air raid siren went off. Parker, still slightly buzzed, stumbled out to machine gun and, by sheer dumb luck, shot down a Japanese bomber while laughing his head off. "Magnificent," Shoemaker declared. "The man is a combat genius. Binghamton, you were right to recommend him for a medal." Binghamton, now suffering from a massive headache and the realization of what he'd done, could only stare into the distance. Yes, a medal. Why not?" Chapter 5. Sidney the Alligator and the $900 Wallet. Taratupa's newest resident was Sidney, a friendly alligator who had a peculiar fondness for Ensign Parker's mother's peanut butter sandwiches. "Can we keep him, Skip?" Parker pleaded. "He's a mascot." "An alligator? On a wooden boat?" McHale asked. "Why not? Everything else is crazy around here." Meanwhile, Binghamton had set a trap. He used $900 of Lieutenant Carpenter's back pay to bait a wallet, which he lost near McHale's shack, hoping to catch the crew in the act of theft. But Sidney found the wallet first. Sidney ate the captain. Parker screamed when he saw the alligator with Binghamton's ID card in its mouth. Binghamton arrived, furious. "Where's my money? I caught your alligator with my ID. You're all under arrest for grand larceny." A court-martial was convened. Parker, acting as his own defense attorney, called Sidney to the stand. The alligator sat in a large tub of water, looking bored. "I object!" Binghamton screamed. "You can't call an alligator as a witness." "I demand a mistrial on the grounds of temporary insanity," Parker shouted back. The alligator was crazy for peanut butter. The trial descended into farce. McHale and the crew managed to lure Sidney into the courtroom with a sandwich. The alligator crawled toward the judge's bench and testified by opening its mouth, revealing the stolen wallet, intact. "Exhibit A," McHale declared. Carpenter, seeing his money, burst out, Oh,